Hi, my name is Dr. Matthew Shepard of Midwest Evaluation and Research. At Midwest Evaluation, we're good at seeing things that other people don't see and in asking the right questions. We've made this video to share a fun example with you of what that means. So what if I told you something that you believe was wrong? Completely wrong, totally wrong, obviously wrong, but you don't know it because you believe what you've been told. So let me ask you a simple question. Who's the villain in The Wizard of Oz? I bet your answer is different from my answer. If we only see what we expect to see, what we want to see, what we've been told to see. Sometimes in life we miss the obvious. But in this case, the obvious is that the real villain, and perhaps one of the most evil fictional villains of all time, is really Glinda, the Witch of the North. So you don't believe it. Well, let's pick up the story with the tragic accidental death of the wicked Witch of the East. So who's the first to arrive on the scene after this tragic accident but Glinda, who promptly declares that the deceased was evil and interrogates Dorothy.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Only bad witches are ugly.
Lie number one, only bad witches are ugly. If this were in fact true, then Glinda should be able to tell from a casual glance that Dorothy, who does not appear to be ugly, must in fact be good. But Glinda tells us that beautiful people are good and ugly people are bad. I don't know how it was at your high school, but it didn't work like that when I was there. So now arrives the Wicked Witch of the West, who is clearly distraught that her sister is dead, and is understandably angry about what has happened. She wants to know who's responsible for this. Leave it to Glinda to subtly point out, yeah, that would be her over there. Thanks a lot, Glinda. Couldn't we just said no one is in the house when it fell out of the sky? So after notifying the Witch of the West that Dorothy murdered her sister, Glinda points out that she had some powerful magic shoes and maybe she should get them. Not. She magically snatches them off the dead body and puts them on Dorothy. Oh, and by the way, you can't take them off until you're dead. Thanks a lot, Glinda. What are you trying to do, get me killed? Yeah, she is. Now there was no reason to put those shoes on Dorothy except to create conflict. Normally in such situations, who should possessions go to? I don't know. Next of kin, like the Witch of the West, who has now had her sister killed and been robbed in the last 10 minutes? How do you top that? Oh, maybe by saying subtly, hey, you better get out of here before somebody drops the house on you. Nice. So how does Glinda now comfort this poor, confused girl?
I'm afraid you've made rather a bad enemy of the Wicked Witch of the West. The only person who might know would be the great and wonderful Wizard of Oz himself.
Lie number 2 and lie number 3. I don't know how to send you home, and you'll have to go see the wizard. Hey, I have an idea. Now that the Witch of the West wants to kill you, why don't you leave the apparently only place in Oz where her powers don't work? Brilliant. So obviously, as we learn at the end of the saga, Dorothy could have gone at home at any time at this point with simply the click of her heels. Glinda knows this and will send her home the moment she's no longer useful to her. So Dorothy sets out to see the wizard and along the way picks up some emotionally damaged and mentally challenged friends. She's attacked by the Wicked Witch along the way, but no help from Glinda here. Only when Dorothy is all but lost in the poppy fields does Glinda step in to provide a little support and the help of Snow just to keep the conflict going. So now Dorothy arrives at the Emerald City. We know that the wizard has no real magical powers. So how is it that he knows that Dorothy is coming? How does he have a plan for dealing with her? Obviously, Glinda flew straight over and has shared her evil plan to get Dorothy to kill the Witch of the West. Oh, and by the way, did you see all the men in Emerald City who look like the wizard? I guess some positions come with special perks. So, Glinda gets what she wants, a to-the-death showdown between Dorothy and her friends and the Wicked Witch of the West. Luckily for her, it turns out that the Wicked Witch of the West was aqua intolerant and has a bad allergic reaction. Anyway, now that all the evil witches are dead, and Dorothy has learned her lesson about running away and wants to go home, does Glinda show up now to tell her how to use the magic shoes? No, I guess she was busy getting her hair done, or maybe enslaving some subhuman populations in the eastern or western branches of her kingdom. No, she leaves that to the wizard, who by now has been exposed as a fraud, and probably is himself afraid of Dorothy and her cadre of killers. So at this point, he volunteers to take Dorothy home himself. Mighty nice of you, Professor. So as soon as the wizard is too high to jump out of his balloon, and before if anyone can think of saying, "Hail Dorothy, Queen of the Emerald City," suddenly Glinda appears and shows Dorothy how to use her magic shoes to get home. Like you couldn't have told me this 4 days ago? Or I don't know, maybe when Dorothy was locked in the castle, ready to die, begging to go home, I think she learned her lesson there.
No, she had to find it out for herself. Now those magic slippers will take you home in 2 seconds.
Lie number 4. You had to learn this for yourself. Excuse me? What were you going to do, pop into the balloon when I was floating above Oz to teach me this moral lesson and then send me home? Unfortunately, Dorothy is too young and too stupid to realize that she's been manipulated this whole time. She's a fool to give up ruling Oz and go back to a Depression-era dirt farm in black and white Kansas. And in the end, Glinda is the only witch left standing. And as a bonus, she gets a new pair of red shoes. Red shoes that will go well with her black heart. So the moral of our story is the truth can be right in front of you, and you won't even see it unless you ask the right questions or have the right perspective. Still don't believe me? Did you notice any wardrobe changes I had during this video? How many did you notice? Did you notice 18? Or did you miss what was right in front of you? So if you need any help asking the right questions or a little fresh perspective, visit our website at midwestevaluation.com. And thanks for watching.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.